Good morning, y'all. It is Friday, June the 12th, and I am going to take a walk through the garden this morning. Y'all come on. I was just talking about this last night. Our first pumpkin bloom. So this morning I have beautiful female squash blossom that has bloomed. I'm going to go around and just double check, but I don't have a male to pollinate this one. So since I don't have a male to pollinate this one, that means that my pollinators probably aren't going to be able to pollinate it. So I'm going to attempt to use one of these 10 male flowers on the other bed to see if this works. These leaves are so pretty, by the way. Variegated leaves. But let's try it. Here we go with pollen. And this may not work because they are a little bit different variety of plant, but who knows? It might work. I also see one that did not pollinate here. So I'm going to go ahead and, you can tell because it looks like it's dying off. I'm going to go ahead and clip that now to prevent any energy from the plant being put into attempting to grow this. I'll go feed this to the chickens. This one looks like it may not have pollinated, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. And one of the ways you can tell is that the flower looks dead. That's not always the case, but it is a good indicator. But I'm going to wait. I still have plenty more growth here. I'm going to have to pull my plant up because I am growing these vertically. So I'm going to have to come out here and stake all of these this evening. I'm going to wait until this evening. And that golden zucchini, which we ate last night, and it was delicious. Looks like it did not get hand pollinated or pollinated at all. Lots of fruit on that plant. One of the things I had to do with these plants, which is why I'm kind of babying them, they're the only 4 in this bed, but when I transplanted them, several of the bottom, and I'm weeding, so ignore me here. When I transplanted them, several of the bottom leaves, you may remember, if not, you can go back and look at some of my first garden tour videos. Several of the bottom leaves were dead. They were dying off. And I wanted to find out how to get them off of there because I felt like the plant was trying to put energy into growing those stems and the leaves were dead. And that blossom that's on the ground right here, I actually pinched it off from the end of this fruit. And see, that's a pollinated flower. And I just pinched the end off just to make sure the end of the plant was nice and clean and developed. You don't have to do that. You don't have to pollinate your squash unless you want to. I mean, we have 2 beehives right here, and I see tons of other pollinators. The bees are actually getting moved here today because our high tunnel's being delivered, and Chris has to get all this cleared so we can start putting it together this weekend. But I'm only doing it for these because I only have 2 golden zucchini and 2 gray zucchini, and then over here I have yellow crookneck squash and black beauty. And then the other zucchini that I was saying that I had planted over there in the corn bed that I couldn't remember the name of it because the raccoons ate the seed is Ford Hook, I believe. See, now I'm second guessing again. I believe it's Ford Hook. But look at so this is golden zucchini and this is gray zucchini. The leaf variegation on the gray zucchini almost matches the coloring on the fruit itself. It was so good. The golden zucchini tasted way better, and I just sliced them into circles and I roasted them. I put garlic, onion powder, olive oil, And I also julienned some jalapenos that I roasted with them. I was hoping I had some cauliflower left over from the farmer's market, but I did not. So we just had the squash, and it was so good. I still have 2 more fruit. I thought, I harvested 3 golden zucchini and 1 gray zucchini, and I thought that we would eat it all, and we didn't. So I still have 2 more golden zucchini that I'm probably going to cook over the weekend with something. I might grill them. But anyway, I've got to stake these up and get them back to their vertical growth, because they'll take over this entire bed. And I do have an okra planted right here, and the cantaloupe are also taking over, and so are the weeds. So I got to get in here and weed this weekend as well. Weekend weeding. And I wanted to quickly show, look at this okra plant. It is just going crazy, and I don't know why it's not getting taller. I was told by the farmer, there are 4 in here that I got from the farmer's market, and he told me they were Clemson spineless, but they are not getting tall. So I'm wondering if these were like dwarf Clemson spineless, like those baby bubba that I planted in the green stalk. But the other Alabama red okra seeds that I planted here have not germinated, or at least I don't think they have. And I may start some in the greenhouse now. There's one that has germinated. I'm carrying this around because I'm going to go give it to the chickens along with that other one. There's one that has germinated here. This one's the emerald velvet. But the okra in my other bed, let's go over there and look at those okra real fast. So here's the okra in my melon bed. So I have 3 here that germinated, and only 2 of these germinated. But look at this guy. I guess it's because he's getting the most sun, maybe. He gets that longer morning sun that's coming through the trees over here. So maybe, I don't know. And I had another one that I thought had germinated, but it was a weed. It was right there. And then I think that's a weed. I'll have to look. It might be another. Oh, no. It is another okra, because I planted 2 more right there. And my hope was that before these guys started and growing out like this, that the okra would be taller so that I could weave the vines around and still be able to harvest some okra. I also have okra here in the cabbage. This is emerald velvet too, and there's one, and there's one. And my hope was that the okra would start, being taller than the cabbage, and then it would offer a little bit of shade, since my cabbage is just, it's starting to take off now, but everyone else is harvesting their cabbage when I planted mine at the same time. So either the soil is just not what the cabbage needs. I will be growing some cabbage in the high tunnel, and then I will also be direct sowing out here as well. Well, not direct sowing. I have some already started in the greenhouse. And I do need to trim the limbs off of some of my artichoke. He is looking choky. Yeah. I'll do that and give him to the chickens. Poor guy. And then my beans are just going. These are bush beans on this row and in the very center, and pole beans on the side. There's a couple of random pole beans on the far edge. And I also planted a late row of corn here, of a different variety. And I can see a couple of those squash that I planted last week are popping out. Well, there's one anyway. There's another one here. And the squash will provide good ground cover to help keep this area moist for the corn. And probably, what's the saying, knee-high by July? We're almost there, or at least I'm short, so I don't know if that's supposed to be for a tall person. Knee-high by July on the corn. We're going to be probably thigh-high by July, and I can put a late, need to get all these mushrooms out, a late a pole bean in here to grow up the corn stalks. I'm not going to do it on each corn stalk, but I'm going to do it on probably this edge and the outer edge so that I can easily reach the beans. And we had even debated putting an arch trellis here next year and growing beans on either side, because we're going to move our corn over to this row. I had talked to Chris, tried to talk Chris into not doing corn next year, and he said, no, we're doing corn. He always wants to do corn, so I was like, okay. But we can always get corn so cheap when it's in season, so it's almost like it's taking up all this real estate in the garden when we're going to be able to get it for 25 cents an ear here soon. So this pumpkin plant's going wild. Oh, need to go ahead and get him over here. You do not need to be touching on my little, well, they'll be big soon, but my little watermelon plant. So excited to see that orange bloom in there. And then all of our tomatoes are looking good. Got some more staking to do. And look at this mammoth dill. Wow. I'm going to clip those down today. I may plant something else right there too. And I see some poop on my eggplant. So I need to treat that again. But that eggplant, I did do some research. I'm going to pick it tonight. Clayton. I'm going to pick it tonight. And look at the cucumbers. There's several back in here too. I don't know how I missed them the other day, or I didn't miss them and they just popped up. And this is the same plant that's in the front. I'll walk up there real fast and show y'all. I've talked about it before. This is lemon cucumber. Started at the same time in the greenhouse. Transplanted at the exact same time. And maybe the mammoth dill is like taking over the space where it's not getting as much sun. But this one has a lot more flowers and fruit. The other one has no flowers or fruit. But let me just... Here, I'll stick my hand in here to show you a comparison. So here is one lemon cucumber plant. It's the biggest one I have. Well, this one's big too. But let me go show you the biggest. These are the biggest I have back here. Let me go show you in the front. Here, chickies. So in the front, here is the 2 lemon cucumber plants that I have. And you can see how much bigger they are, but there are no blooms or fruit set on these. I have a local veteran that does woodworking that's going to make a bench right here for me. I was going to make it, but I'm worried that it's going to look like I made it, so I want it to look nice, and he does that. So, and last night I hung these solar string lights all along the front of the garden. So tonight when we come out, I think we're staying a little later tonight because I want to look for some hornworms. I haven't seen any signs of hornworms yet, but I have a black light, flashlight. I want to come out here and look for the hornworms. These nasturtiums are getting big. And I don't know why my little wildflowers and sunflowers just aren't taking off in this bed like in the other spots of the garden. But those are things that I'll take note of for next year. This cucamelon's starting to take off too. I showed you the ones in the back. They're getting a little crazy as well. Anyway, so y'all have a happy Friday. Just always something so magical about this. This was the perfect spot to put this flag.